Put your eyes back in your head.
I felt like flavor. What me do?
Pry their eyes open and force them to see the truth. We will skin the sheep and sacrifice the weak. The unholy alliance has arrived.
Well. How you doing, people? How are you doing on this glorious day? This has been a wonderful day. A wonderful, wonderful day. It's a wonderful day in the neighborhood. A wonderful day for a neighbor. Would you be mine? Could you be mine? I always wanted to live neighbor just like you. How about one that lives in the neighborhood with you? So y'all, there's this misconception. There's a misconception that surround this crew of people over here that we just get along. Everybody it's all sunshines and rosies and daisies and pixies and all types of shit. Well, y'all about to get another side. Y'all about to see what goes on, a glimpse of what goes on in the back. Because I got some shit to say. Oh, yes, I got some shit to say and I got some shit to talk about. You got something to talk about? Yes, I got something to talk about. Because something has happened in this off season and this playoff that I really enjoyed. And we finally, for the most part, I thought, for the most part, especially in the Houston Warriors series, that I thought, we saw some pretty good basketball, but it was a style of basketball for me that was impressive, that I enjoyed. And I'm telling you, from a person that doesn't really care about basketball like that anymore, but Senator Palpatine got something to say today. The senator himself, Mad Mike, all right, got something to say. Y'all probably looking at this screen and say, yeah, I'm on my shit today. So I'm about to stir it all the way up. And it's going to be some inner turmoil. Okay? A lot of inner turmoil. Like I said, I'm going to talk about it today. Because we like to have a conversation. We like to have a conversation. I like to have a conversation. Let me make that mean. I like to have that conversation. Because there's a specific guy and guys, and like I said, y'all can still throw your comments out there, your questions out there. We're definitely gonna answer a lot of questions about this, but this is about to be an interesting show for y'all. Just gonna be real. Y'all probably saw the short that I put out earlier. If you didn't, you might want to check it out. Like I said, there's a lot of people that really believe that that we over here, you guys just y'all just a crew of people that repeat what everybody else says and y'all never disagree about anything. Boy, how wrong are you gonna be today? Because I got a lot to say. And I'm doing it now because this bitch won't respond to me. So it's his fault for this. He wanna run and duck and hide. Yeah. They've been ducking and hiding for the last what? He been ducking and hiding for the last 20 so hours and don't want to actually have the conversation. You want to speak your piece, but you don't want to have a conversation. You want to call people hypocrites and all this bullshit. Well, here's the day. We about to get at it. Okay? Yes. And like I said, y'all can still put them questions in there. But we definitely we about to have this conversation. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we about to have this conversation. And I think this is something that's relevant because I saw I saw a lot of stuff recently. Just like, all right. Oh boy. Like I said, y'all can continue to put y'all comments in there. But yeah, we're gonna talk about this. You see this? Y'all see this? You see this? Nothing else to talk about. Look, is it really anything else to talk about? Is there really any more to talk about outside of this picture? This picture says everything and it says a lot. This says everything and it says a hell of a lot. What comes in mind when you see this shit right here? Let's be honest for a second. What we've seen, the behavior from this guy the last few months, the last year or so, and we saw some, if you have not seen it already, Stephen A. Smith put out, and ESPN put out, Woj, all those guys put out some news that there's some inner turmoil in regards to LeBron James and the Lakers. LeBron James. Yeah, LeBron James and the Lakers, there's some turmoil. So it makes sense why he acting like a little bitch right now. Makes so much sense why he acting like a little bitch. Trying to pretend like he hurt and all. Look, all of a sudden this man hurt. You talking about a motherfucker that ain't been hurt in 22 years and all of a sudden, yep. LeBron's hurt all of a sudden. King James is hurt all of a sudden. You see this guy. This is who y'all label the king. This is who y'all label, not everybody, but most people, a lot of people of today label this guy a GOAT. Why? This guy's pretending to be hurt. The dude barely got nicked by a player that's look, this dude smaller. You talking about a small player, and this dude just falls on the ground like he just done got, like I said, he done fell on the ground like he done got shot, done got beat down by Bruce Lee and Chuck Norris or some shit. He just fell down like he ain't got nothing left. And then you see stuff like this where this guy's literally faking an injury. But why am I talking about this? Because this look, it's gonna be a crossover. Believe that. This guy's literally faking injuries right before you, and then we got these people, these LeBron fans, that don't want to call a spade a spade. If you saw your player laying on the ground like he did, and you barely got hit, what would your first thought would be? You want to talk about that? Or you just want to disregard? No, we don't want to talk about that. He's LeBron. He's LeBron. He's LeBron. Let's not talk about it. Because I was challenged. So when I'm challenged on something, I'm going to speak on it. So let me play y'all something. Okay?
Whatever. Spoiled your big saying. Well. Microscopes and you're putting in overtime of the hate and hypocrisy on LeBron James. But let's talk about your two max superstars that y'all say in so many cases is better than LeBron, KD and Kawhi. And what have they done since 2019? What? Neither one of them have yet to, you know what I'm saying, lead teams and even be in the finals. But that's what y'all do. OG out.
Yeah, y'all hear it. So I'm challenging Samuel White to a debate. Don't keep running from it, because I done sent you 15, 20 messages, so you won't respond. So I'm going to take it live. You won't respond. You won't answer the phone. You won't do any of that. Why? Because his little precious goat is out of the playoffs. And now he pointing the fingers at KD. He pointing the fingers at everybody else. But there's a debate right now that nobody wants to talk about. Nobody wants to look at and say, damn, boy, Steph got another team. Steph could easily right now, especially the way the playoffs are, how they look against Houston, who was a wonderful team in their own right. Them boys beat Houston. That's a very good team. And it was a convincing win as a team. You have Luka Doncic on your team, and guess what happens? You lose. Guys like Charles Barkley that went out of the way and said, look like Bron quit. That's not me saying it. This ain't me. This ain't me saying it. Mike, look, you hearing Charles Barkley say this. You hearing guys like Grant Hill say it looked like he quit. These are NBA players that went out of his way and say LeBron quit on his team. That LeBron quit on his team. But what do you do, Samuel? As soon as LeBron get kicked out of the playoff, you go to ducking and hiding and trying to point the fingers at KD. And no, that misdirection shit ain't going to work. Because guess what? I'm challenging you to a debate, sir. And I don't want to hear nothing about what everybody else. I want you to line up your stats. I want you to line up your facts. I want to line up the truth. I don't want you bringing up anybody else and everybody else name. I want you to blame. I want you to put LeBron James' numbers and his accolades at the top. Because nobody said KD is the GOAT. Nobody has ever said Kevin Durant is a GOAT. Nobody has said Kevin Durant is a GOAT. Nobody. That right there is hypocrisy in its own right. Nobody. I have never said that. Truth has never said that. K Styles has never said that. Nobody has stated this. You're the only one that is talking about KD. KD ain't even in the damn playoffs, and you trying to bring him up. Ain't got shit to do with nothing. This is what LeBron fans do. When asked about who is the GOAT, guess what LeBron said? Time and time and time and time again, LeBron has said, I believe I'm the GOAT. 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 Totally disrespecting Cap. The same people that you try to put on a pedestal above Michael Jordan, he disrespect Cap, say he's better than Cap. He disrespect Wilt Chamberlain, say he's better than Wilt Chamberlain. He disrespect Kobe Bryant, the guy that who helped make that jersey that you wearing famous. You disrespect Magic Johnson. You disrespect Michael Jordan. You disrespect the great Pistons team because you said you're the GOAT. When Kobe Bryant was asked that same question, he said, no, there was guys that did it before me. And yeah, I believe I strive to be the best, and every player should strive to be the best. He says, guess what? Nah, I got to give it up to the players before me. When asked about who's going to win one-on-one, him or Michael Jordan, guess what Kobe said? I don't look that question makes me queasy. That question makes me uncomfortable. The great Kobe Bryant, the late great Kobe Bryant, when asked who's going to win a one-on-one against Michael Jordan, guess what he says? Nah, I can't do that because if it wasn't for Michael Jordan, them 5 championships that I won wouldn't mean much of anything. Why? Because he got the knowledge and the game from him. Kobe patterned his whole game after Michael Jordan. So he said it time and time again. When asked about Jordan, who's the great, he always gave it up to the guys before him. But no, not this precious king of y'all. He points the finger at himself and say, I'm the king, I'm the king, I'm the king. When Michael Jordan was asked that same question, do you personally believe that you are the greatest of all time? Time and time again, Michael Jordan has said, guess what? No, I can't disrespect because there was guys before me like the Wilt Chamberlains, like the Caps, the Magic Johnson, the Larry Birds, all those guys did it before me. Now we're talking about the guy that damn near every player in every generation look at and say, God damn that Jordan. I grew up trying to be Michael Jordan. We got guys like Allen Iverson who said, man, look, I got to play against my idol, Michael Jordan. I would never say I'm better than Michael Jordan. But look, I'm going to go at him and I'm going to go hard at Mike. They never disrespect the legends before them. But no, this LeBron James guy, he consistently disrespects the guys that did before him. The same guy that Sam tried to use the Oscar Robinsons and all that, Oscar Robinson time and time again. Disrespecting Oscar Robinson. And Oscar Robinson made the damn triple-double famous. So if it wasn't for no damn triple-double, there wouldn't be no need for damn LeBron James. LeBron James is a wonderful player, one of the greatest players of all time. But when it comes down to Michael Jordan and his awards and his accolades, How is this even a conversation? How are we going to have truth? Did LeBron James ever win the Defensive Player of the Year? Somebody tell me. Has LeBron James ever won a Defensive Player of the Year? Has that ever happened? Has he ever won the Defensive Player of the Year? Huh? Six NBA championships, 6-0, not one loss. Not one loss. In the biggest stage of them all, not one loss. In 6 NBA championships, finals appearance, guess what? Michael Jordan won 6 finals MVPs. 6 finals MVPs. So what does that mean? So that means every series that he was in, the dude was the best player. He was the best player that stood out in every one of his finals appearances. Every one. 5 most valuable players. 14-time NBA All-Star. All Defensive Player of the Year. We're talking about Defensive Player of the Year. Now, we're talking about a guy that's the best player in the fucking league, defensive player in the league. Not only this guy the best Defensive Player of the Year, but he's the best fucking scorer on top of it. Why is this a conversation? Why is this a conversation? Why is this even any doubt when it comes down to this? Those are players in the game that is it's literally on one hand the Cap, the Will Chamberlains, and the Michael Jordans who have scored 30, 25 plus points and won defensive and won. We talking about guys that have scored 25 plus points and they was one of the top defensive guys. It's literally one hand in the history of the NBA, and Michael Jordan is one of those guys. Kobe Bryant is not one of those guys. LeBron James is not one of those guys. Dominique Wilkins, Charles Barkley, all of these guys, they're not one of those guys or have not accomplished what Jordan has done. And we're talking about, we're trying to have a serious debate about the GOAT status. So we're not going to talk about, all right, who was on his team, because at the end of the day, when you talk about defense, does it really matter who was on your team? Because your defense is an individual. And I'm talking about individual effort. That's a guy like Dyson Daniels right now for the Atlanta Hawks, looking really good right now. That's an individual. So not only this dude coming out scoring 30, 40 points a game, he putting up maximum effort on both sides of the court. How many times have we said that Trae Young doesn't play defense? LeBron doesn't play defense. Guys like Luka, all these other guys. How many times have we said that these guys don't even play defense? They don't even make an effort to look like they should. But this guy that we talking about, Michael Jordan, did that. Nine-time all defensive. Played in the league 15 years, I believe. It was 15 years. Out of the 15 years he's been an NBA player, he made 9 all defensive player of the year. And we still want to have this conversation? 10-time scoring champ. So that's 5 years out of his career he wasn't a scoring champ. What are we talking about? 5 years out of this man's career, he wasn't even a scoring champ. 5 years out of his 15-year career. 15 years and 5 years out of those years, Michael Jordan was not the leading scorer in the entire NBA. And we want to have a conversation? Where's the conversation? Where are we going to start? So this is not about a disdain or hate for a guy. You got to pull up your proof. You got to pull up your stats. Because if we're going to be who we say we are at Atlanta Falcon Nation, we don't get caught up in our feelings. I'm not going to be no hypocrite. Because when a nigga wrong, he wrong. Period. You got to admit when you in your feelings about something. Oh, this is my personal feelings about something. This is about being honest. And the honest truth about this, there's no conversation. Okay? There's no conversation. So I am challenging you, sir, to pull up the numbers, pull up the accolades, and prove to everyone, not me, because this ain't about me. Prove to me why this guy deserves to be over Kobe Bryant. Prove to me why this guy deserved to be over Cap. Prove to me why he deserved to be over Wilt Chamberlain. Because you guys say that he deserved to be the GOAT because he's played 22 years. I'm just saying, I want to be proved wrong. I want somebody to show me the truth, show me the accolades, show me what this guy has done to deserve to overlook a Kobe Bryant. Show me. This guy won one scoring championship. Okay? He's been number one in scoring. Okay? Number one in scoring in his 22-year career once. One time. So show me the money, okay? Show me the money. I want somebody to show me the money and why this guy deserves to be regarded as the greatest of all time, as he stated. Because if we're just looking at numbers, then numbers are only subjected to what our personal view is. Because I can say, because I have 22,000 points or whatever the case may be, and nobody is nowhere near that, I can say I am the GOAT because of this number. But when we talk about all the other numbers, the things that Wilt Chamberlain has done, the things that one of the greatest of all time is Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, aka Cap, has done, the great Bill Russell. I mean, you look at what Steph Curry's doing. This Negro is blowing everybody away with his shooting and his ability. He's blowing the competition. Look, he might even goddamn double some of the greatest shooters in the history of the NBA. This dude is damn near doubling their numbers. So we're going to say LeBron is the GOAT because he has better numbers than some people. Well, you got to take this into consideration. He's played 22 years. And this is where LeBron James has, and for me, this is where I give him his credit. It's a lot of luck. Playing 22 years is not easy, bro. That's not easy. So he deserves a lot of praise, and he deserved the accolades. He deserved all of the praise that he's getting as a all-time GOAT. But when you talk about the greatest of all time, you got to step in that ring. You can't step in the ring and say, all right, I think I'm better than you. All right, show me. Prove it to me. My guy is better than you. It's just words at the end of the day if you can't prove it. 10 NBA finals, okay? Anybody know what LeBron James' record is in the finals? 4-6. And then I heard Clyde Frazier say that Michael Jordan wasn't the greatest of all time because he doesn't have the most wins. Well, I mean, if that's how you view it, then I can't argue with that. But I can have a rebuttal to that because if we're talking about wins, well, if a guy doesn't have losses, and we got a guy like Bill Russell who is regarded the greatest because he has more wins, but Michael Jordan doesn't have a number. He doesn't have a L by his numbers. When we talk about championships, there's only one person for the most part that has been the 6 or 5 NBA championships that don't have a loss, and that's Michael Jordan. Every time this dude has been to the finals, he's won. And he's won the MVP, finals MVP on top of it. So the numbers can be clouded and it really is subjective depending on what you're talking about. But in this case with LeBron, he doesn't have a case because he's not the greatest of all time in regards to overall average scoring. Not even close. Okay? Not even close. He hasn't won scoring titles like a Kobe Bryant and a Michael Jordan and a lot of these guys. He hasn't done that. But he's compiled an insane amount of numbers over the years. So, like I said, I challenge you, Samuel. Bring your punk ass to the stage. Step up. Stop running. Stop ducking and hiding. And I challenge you. We challenge you to show me the numbers. Show me what you got, pimp. I want you to prove wrong, and I will sit there and I will not say I won't say a word about this. I will let you speak your piece for 20, 30 hour, however long you need to prove your point that this guy's the GOAT and Michael Jordan isn't. Please show me. Because if you're going to use the same shit that you say about, oh, Michael Jordan, you heard what Isaiah said, Michael Jordan ain't the great. No, that's not true. That's not true either. I got a video right here. Okay? Where the guy that absolutely hates Michael Jordan's guts. This man, Isaiah Thomas, cannot stand Michael Jordan. And he called him the GOAT. And then we got Isaiah Thomas. We know that he got some personal feelings about him. Guess what happens? He wasn't said, yeah, LeBron James, my guy. So Isaiah Thomas, is he one of those guys that is credible? Probably not. But I've heard Larry Bird, I heard Magic Johnson, I've heard all these guys that we respect. All these guys call Michael Jordan the greatest. Michael Jordan never takes that title, but they've called him that. They've said he's one of the greatest competitors, the most insane competitors ever. They said this about Jordan. I ain't heard this about LeBron, him being the most insane competitor. I heard this about Kobe Bryant being an insane competitor, but I've never heard anybody say, yeah, LeBron is an insane competitor. I've heard people say when LeBron don't get his way, he's gonna start going other ways. I've heard that. But hey, it is what it is. Y'all show me, man. Look, I'm about to get into the Jeff Ulbrich conversation, but I challenge you, Samuel. Stop running. Be a man. Bring your facts and your stats and the absolute proof, and stop bringing up Kevin Durant. Stop bringing up everybody else, Trey Young or whoever the hell, or Ant-Man and all these other guys. Stop bringing them up and show me about this precious king of yours. Show me. Show me the money. Show it to me. I double dog fucking dare you to bring up some numbers that when you look at LeBron James and say, yeah, he's clearly, without a doubt, Michael Jordan. He may have Michael Jordan in 2, maybe 3 categories. Assists, probably. Rebounds, probably. But like when you talk about the overall awards and things that he's done, this guy single-handedly won games. So many game winners. It's just so many things that Jordan got over this guy. It's not even funny. It's not even the conversation. So show it to me. Stop running and show it to me. And that's the bottom line because Mad Mike said so. So we're going to get into this Jeff Ulbrich situation because, and y'all can throw the comments in there also. Y'all got some comments and Falcons questions. I'll glad to, but these are the 3 things that I'm going to be looking for with Jeff Ulbrich and the Atlanta Falcons in 2025. All right. So there's a couple things, a few things that I want that I'm going to be talking about in regards to Jeff Ulbrich. First of all, this is what I'm going to be expecting and what I want to see with Jeff Ulbrich this year, because we did an interview with the great Johnny Abraham, and happy birthday to the great Johnny Abraham. If y'all see him on any of these social media platforms, whether it's IG or Facebook, show that man some love, man, because like I said, good dude. And he's done nothing but give us respect and honor over here at Atlanta Falcon Nation, man. And one of the things that he stated as when we did our interview is that you look at him, he said one of the things that stood out to him last year was the bad linebacker play. The athleticism, the instincts was just poor, terrible, bad, God freaking awful. It was stinking awful. And I gotta agree. Everybody say Caden Ellis here, he had 150 tackles, but you look at it, he had a lot of good numbers. But when you look at, him constantly getting beat in coverage, him being slow to certain situations, and like I said, he did when he was in the spot, he made the play. But it was a lot of times, and especially in the passing game, where teams just tore our asses up. Team tore our asses up. And we saw it, especially that 2-minute offense, 2-minute drill, going to halftime. Oh, teams ate our ass alive because our linebackers were slow. Our linebackers were unathletic. They were not athletic. We had linebackers on wide receivers. Don't know why Raheem decided he wanted to do that. But if we're going to be a better defense this year, and I think a lot of our success, especially getting to the playoffs, we have to improve our defense. And the most important position, in my opinion, with this Atlanta Falcons team, we gotta get better play from our linebackers. We gotta get a healthy Troy Anderson. We gotta see JD Bertrand continue to improve as a linebacker. We gotta see Divine Diablo, just do what he does. He's a better guy in coverage than a guy like Caden Ellis. We got to see if we can put Jalen Walker in those positions, and maybe he'll be a better linebacker than we expect. And I fully expect the Atlanta Falcons to use him as an edge, but I expect the Atlanta Falcons to use Jalen Walker and so many other ways and dynamics. I think he's one of those guys. You look at him, I think Jeff Ulbrich is his biggest, and I think his biggest strength for me personally is that he's able to develop our linebackers. He's responsible for guys like Deion Jones. He was responsible for these types of guys. Foye or Luakon, all those guys, helping develop those guys. So he's been in there. So for me, the linebacker is the first one that I really want to see. And like I said, on the edge, being able to be a little bit more aggressive, attack. If you look at Jude's video, he talked about this, about the Atlanta Falcons defense being much more aggressive. But the Atlanta Falcons can't be aggressive if their linebackers are not improving. So this is one of the things I'll give Raheem a little bit more leniency on it, because as a defensive coach, if you don't have the linebackers that have the athleticism and can stay with these athletes, stay with these running backs coming out the backfield, you're going to get smoked. So you're going to have to play a lot of off coverage in certain situations because these guys can't cover. So for me, the first thing I want to see the development of our linebacker and the continuous development of our linebackers, the guys like Troy Anderson, Jalen Walker, JD Bertrand, all these guys. And maybe we'll be able to bring in some linebackers. Got to look at the linebacker group, but maybe we'll be able to bring somebody in that he can develop and kind of take under his wing. That'd be a sleeper. That'd be a good thing. The second thing for me, what I'm looking at, Jeff Ulbrich, and I think for me personally, I don't want him to be I really don't want him to be a do boy for Raheem. I need you to be an absolute man, okay? When you know something will work, I need you to be able to step up and say, hell no in the company. We got to be more aggressive. Raheem, this shit ain't working. I need you to stand up to Raheem and say, look, Raheem, Jerry Gray, this shit ain't working. This is what we need to do. I want to see him stand up. I need to see him as a coach that is not afraid to speak his mind. I need to see him as a coach that's not afraid to speak his piece and be very aggressive with even the guys on the field. I need to see him assert himself as a top defensive coordinator, because that shit that his son did, it put a target on him. That shit put a target on him. So I need for Jeff Ulbrich as a defensive coordinator. Okay? As a defensive coordinator to assert himself with the entire coaching staff. But no, Drew, like I said, that's the thing when I come down to it. It's like if Braun is in a conversation, if you everybody at the end of the day, depending on how you view a certain topic, Drew, um, it is subjective. But even it being subjective, you still gotta have numbers, you still gotta have accolades. You're nothing without you're not a championship. You're not a champion without the accolades. You're not the GOAT without the accolades. So everything is subjective in regard to his individual overall talent. Absolutely, LeBron deserved to be in that. But you gotta show me compared to everybody else, because every great player has accolades. But you can't call yourself the greatest if your accolades don't match everyone's else. Every player and all the other great players' accolades. You're not the GOAT. It's just like baseball. How can you say that you're the greatest strikeout king of all time if you don't have the most strikeouts? How can you say that you're the all-time winningest basketball player in the history of the game if you've lost games? Michael Jordan never lost in the finals. So it is subjective, but you got at the end of the day, even in that subjectivity, you still gotta show your numbers. You gotta put up the numbers. Matt Ryan ain't regarded as the greatest Falcon player of all time because he was just the third overall pick. He's regarded as the GOAT because he put up the best numbers. Duh. He helped get us to a championship, several ones. So this is what I mean when it comes down to LeBron James and anybody that has LeBron James as the greatest of all time. You still got to put up numbers. You still got to win games. And when you're below 500, talking about you're the GOAT, how is that so? You're losing. You're constantly losing. Now, there's an argument with a lot of people saying, well, Matt Ryan lost and Michael Jordan lost in early in it. Yes, they did, just like LeBron. There's a learning curve for everyone. There's a learning curve for everyone. So this is what I mean by a lot of things. And like I said, this ain't a Bass LeBron situation, right? Don't get that twisted. But this is a conversation that needs to be had because everybody wanted to throw away certain accolades and put other accolades on top. No, you got to put all that shit up at top. You got to put up the fact that Matt Ryan didn't win a Super Bowl. We have to talk about that. We got to put up the fact that Matt Ryan put up 8-9 seasons straight of 4,000 yards, and it's only a handful of guys: Tom Brady, the Peyton Manning, the Drew Brees, Matt Ryan. There's only a handful of guys that have done that, and we're talking about more than guys that have been in the league and they are in the Hall of Fame. Matt Ryan has done that. And that's where the disrespect and disregard for the numbers and the fact is that you look at Matt Ryan and look at his numbers and look at his accolades. The only accolade that he hasn't won is Super Bowl MVP and Super Bowl championship. So how can he not be a Hall of Famer? The man had about 5-6 coordinators, 3 or 4 different head coaches. What are we talking about? And this is where I have an issue with guys just totally looking over people like Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant got the numbers and he got the championships. These aren't made up facts. Everybody want to have an opinion, but nobody want to put everything on a totem pole. I hear people say, well, Michael Jordan lost to Detroit, he lost to Boston, he lost to all these other things. Yes, he did. Just like Magic did, just like Bird did, just like you look at Detroit and Zeke. Those guys lost to each other. They were beating the crap out of each other. The East was the biggest, it was the best conference in that at that time. You look at Matt Ryan was whooping all the great defenses. He was whooping their ass. Just ask Bray Lewis about Matt Ryan. For me, I only seen one team that really had his number, and that was early in his career, and that was the Giants. The Giants just had his number. And obviously, they end up winning the championship and all that, but like, there's only one real team that really had Matt Ryan number. But you got to put everything on the table. We can't, because we Matt Ryan fans, and say, you know what? I don't want to talk about the bad. I want to focus on the fact that Matt Ryan blew a 28-3 lead. We don't want to talk about that. No, you got to throw that shit on the table too. Because at the end of the day, could Matt Ryan said something? Yes, he could have said something. Could Matt Ryan could have done something? Yeah, he could have done something. But he chose to be a good teammate and a good quote unquote employee, and I don't mean that in a demeaning way, because at certain times you just got to do what the coach tell you. And this is where a lot of fans of today, they want to disregard the fact that a LeBron or a guy like Steph Curry has had a KD, he had other guys out. You got to throw all that shit on the table. You got to throw all that on the table to have the conversation, the real conversation that a lot of people don't want to have. Nobody wants to have the real conversation about, all right, does Matt Ryan deserve to be a Hall of Famer? They want to throw certain things in there and disregard, well, Matt Ryan didn't do this, and Matt Ryan did have instances where he could have done more. I think we all know that. Julio, same thing. The defense, same thing. We got to throw all that shit on the table. George Tex Boy said, just like LeBron lost to the Pistons, Spurs, Celtics, Warriors. That's a part of the GOAT status. We can't just decide, when Michael Jordan was learning how to win the game, he was getting his ass kicked. He was scoring a lot of points. He was playing some great defense, but they was kicking the Chicago Bulls' ass. They couldn't win. And then when he started getting better teammates, better coaching, all of that comes. It's the same thing with the Atlanta Falcons. We can sit up here and draft all the Jalen Walkers and the James Pierce Juniors. We can bring in the Bijan Robinson, the Tyler Algiers, the Michael Penix, the Drake Londons. We can bring all these guys in, but if we don't have the right coaching and great coach front office, it doesn't matter. None of that shit matters. Because guess what? You're right back where you were. A team with a bunch of talent and you still losing. AKA the Lakers. They brought in Luka, spent all this money on Luka. Well, they trying to get him in, but that's a whole nother conversation. LeBron don't feel like he want to convince Luka to sign back with the Lakers. The Lakers want LeBron to kind of get in on the conversation of trying to convince him to sign his deal. So he says, how you the GOAT got Luka and lost Luka did what he did in Dallas before LeBron. And that's the thing. That's what I'm saying. We got to put all that on the table. You got to put it all on the table, bro. LeBron never won a championship where he didn't have two or three other guys that was all-stars. Never. Michael Jordan had Scottie Pippen for his entire career. And this, I do not mean this in any disrespectful manner, but we don't know who the fuck no goddamn Judd Boosler and Craig Hodges and all. Man, ain't nobody caring about none of them guys. The only people that really get talked about is Tony Kukoc and Dennis Rodman. Tex Winter and Phil Jackson. Don't nobody know none of them goddamn scrubs from them damn Chicago Bulls teams. Steve Kerr. And we know Steve Kerr because he was the greatest shooter percentage-wise in NBA history before Steve Kerr, but before Steph Curry came. Like, that's the only thing we knew about him. Hey, and don't nobody know nothing about them damn Chicago Bulls team. We barely know Ron Harper. We barely know Horace Grant. But like most of the people today don't know nothing about no damn Horace Grant. They don't care about no Horace Grant. Don't nobody know about no Bill Cartwright. Like, don't nobody care nothing about that. When you look at LeBron teams, like, bro, you've had Kyrie, you've had Luka, you've had D Wade, who's arguably a GOAT in his own. You had another a guy in Toronto. Good guy, Chris Bosh. You had Chris Bosh. Like, those are 4 Hall of Famers, bro. That's 4. Mike literally had 3. Let's say 3. Let's just say 3 for argument's sake. Dennis Rodman, Tony Kukoc, Scottie Pippen. He had 3. LeBron done had. Look, bro, it's that man. In my opinion, because you look at Kevin Love, he's a Hall of Famer. In my opinion, that's 5. That's my opinion. I think Kevin Love is a Hall of Famer. Just my opinion. The numbers that he was putting up before LeBron, like he dumbed his game down to play with him. So, like, can you look at a guy like Steph Curry for getting guys like that and having certain guys on it, but nothing about their game, nothing about those games, just say, all right, I'm average at best. Not a lot. But the conversation really is mostly about, you gotta have a conversation. And George says, boy, you're right. Nobody has ever won a championship without an all-star. That's why you're a great team. In my opinion, I think when Luka is focused, when Luka is I want to say healthy, when he's in shape, because he's like a fat drunk out there to me, if you ask me. I don't know how LeBron James lose with Luka on the team. I don't even know how that happened. Because I don't believe that he was hurt. I just don't believe it. Don't believe the hype. I don't believe it. I'll take your word for it. But you got LeBron James, you got Luka, make a way. But when it all comes down to it, like Jeff Ubrich, like I said before, I want him to assert himself as that guy on defense. And I'm talking about the guy that's going to be running the defense. I want him to develop the linebackers. And the third thing for me, when I look at Jeff Ubrich, and I think this is, I need for him not only assert himself, but I need for him, and what I'm going to be focused on is having a nice rotation with our defensive linemen. We need a rotation and a solid rotation with our defensive linemen. I need to see Zach Harrison more. I need to see less of Arnold Ebiketie. I want to see more of Zach Harrison because for me, physicality on the defensive line just outweighs athleticism. That's just my personal opinion. I think we should assert ourselves physically first because I know we have the athletes. We got Leonard Floyd. We got a Braylon Trice coming back. We got Jalen Walker. We got Pierce. Those are 4 guys right off the rip. 5 guys right off the rip that's athletically gifted. So I think the Falcons should really assert themselves physically and use him much more than what we've seen. And I mean Zach Harrison, the Rook Aurora. We need to see these guys more. So that's what I'm looking for from Jeff Ubrich. Yeah. And like I said, putting them back in their natural position. Like that's what I'm talking about. Like we got to use these guys in position where they're most comfortable at. Like let these guys do what they do best. Let them shine at what they do best. But I think the linebackers improving is really going to turn this defense into something good. I'm not going to use the special, but I think they could be really good if we get better linebacking play. And like I said, this is something that John Abraham talked about in our interview. Dorless is another one. Yep, I think they're going to have a big package with Zach Harrison, Dorless, and he got Rook, and I assume that it's going to be David Onyemata, but we'll see how that goes as the season goes on. I don't think the Falcons are going to cut him because they don't want to recruit any more dead cap if they don't happen. So I expect him to be back. The people that don't have a lot of dead cap, and I think, I just don't think the Falcons end up cutting Onyemata because I obviously with the biggest question mark with the Falcons right now, and that's Kirk Cousins. So I don't think the Falcons are going to risk that. But I think the Falcons are in a much better position where they can that these guys can definitely play any style of football defensively and match up with any team right now. I think we have the personnel to finally do that. Okay, you say. Brooks. Now, Carl Phillips definitely ain't going no practice squad unless he just totally bombs. He's not going that because that's a contract that he's not getting paid a lot. There have to be one of these guys that step up. The Brownings, one of these guys on these corners end up stepping up. Because you got to keep in mind that like what happens, whatever if something happens to Mike Hughes, who's going to be up. So I doubt Clark Phillips going anywhere. He damn sure ain't going to the practice squad where somebody's going to be able to take him away. Kobe Bryant's another one of those guys you would hope that he would step up. But I don't know the real reasons why a team passed him up. We'll see if it was a mistake. It could be a mistake. Maybe it has something to do with injuries or whatnot. But we'll see. But when you need guys like that to step up before you start cutting guys. And I don't think the Falcons are deep enough at corner to be just getting rid of Clark Phillips. Now, King is one of those guys that quite possibly, but yeah. I know as far as the size is concerned, but like I said, will that translate in the NFL? We'll see. I mean, they do. Like I said, the Falcons, they want guys that are athletic, but they want guys with size with that athleticism. And I think it's the right way to go, to be honest. That's just where the league is. That's where the league is headed. They just value athleticism, especially in today's football, as far as the defense is concerned. Like, athleticism and size is everything. But I wouldn't be surprised if Kobe Bryant ended up being that guy. I mean, he has the overall skills to be able to be a corner. So, like I said, it's possible. It's possible. So, all in all, this conversation is truly about sitting and having a real conversation and getting out of our emotions. Emotions make you cry sometimes. No, we're not doing that. No more crying. Step up to the plate and show your hand. Don't run, don't hide. Speak up, speak up, speak up, speak up. Come on over to my place. Speak up, step up, let's do it. No, it's you're not the first one. I'll figure out what's going on, because a lot of people are saying that their comments are being blocked. But what probably happened is YouTube had this automatic thing for every show, and it's probably defaulted to hold comments. So y'all not blocked, but YouTube they have a automatic default. So I just have to go on and change the default, because a lot of people are saying that their comments aren't being seen and posted, probably because YouTube is holding it. But I like I said, I'll check it out. No, nobody. Like I said, we don't block people over here. What's going on, Jules? We don't block people over here unless you really disrespectful. Yeah, YouTube like I said, YouTube does they change a lot of their features. So when they change their features and whatnot, a lot of stuff go back to default. So like if you're not checking it on your channel, you won't get a lot of comments. And like I said, I'll check it out, and I'll let y'all know how, because you're not the only one that said that. I think Southside said the same thing. Yeah, they allow all these damn spammers on. Like, yeah, they allow spammers on, but the people that actually support, y'all throw them shits in the to be held box. Like, get the heck up out of here. But yes, man, like I said, man, continue to support you. Check out the Lady Birds tonight, uh, 8 o'clock. We're going to have Scott Kennedy on, so y'all go check out and make sure you hit the to be notified button over there, so you can get the update as soon as the live show starts. Because sometimes, again, YouTube be tripping with their new features and all that. You'll miss you miss a lot of the live shows. Like I said, continue to support us. Like I said, all all we're here to do is to challenge, challenge, and challenge your thoughts, and challenge you to get better and to know more about the game. That's what we're about over here. We're not about feelings. Okay? Put your feelings aside and let's get to the facts, the stats, and the truth. And that's the bottom line. Because Mike said so. I'll let y'all later.
I told y'all. Bad Mike told you time and time again.